and welcome to the Contenders Corner podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. Join us for our unfiltered thoughts, roasting, rant, ratings, and review of Monday Night's Raw. For everything wrestling here on YouTube, join in on the conversation. Share with us your thoughts of the show, where it's heading, and what Money in the Bank could look like. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on all those important notifications to be notified of our future drops of our content on YouTube. Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view didn't feature any title changing hands, but it did see one superstar lose his ability to challenge for the WWE Championship for the foreseeable future. When Drew McIntyre lost to Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell, the demonic structure, he also lost any right to fight for the belt, while the almighty Bobby Lashley has it around his waist. Seeing as how Lashley has been so dominant as a champion that could be the Raw champ for quite some time, until a real contender becomes available and steps into the almighty's path to end an era, the almighty era. Raw opened up with MVP Lashley and their entourage celebrating the Almighty's win at Hell in a Cell. They were quickly joined by the New Day for a toast, which meant Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods threw a toast at them. Kingston said his win over Lashley last month should make him the number one contender for the WWE Championship and played the footage to rub it in. Lashley accepted the challenge and also agreed to face Woods tonight inside Hell in a Cell. The night's first match was a singles bout between AJ Styles and Ricochet. We saw a clip of Styles having a backstage conversation with the Viking Raiders earlier in the day before the bout began. This was a Money in the Bank qualifier. The Phenomenal One took control almost immediately and kept the upper hand throughout the break. The one and only was able to hit a pair of suplexes to get a near fall. Styles fired off a Pele kick and a unique slam for a close 2 count. The opening segment with Lashley and the New Day was almost perfect. They didn't go too long. Everyone did great work on the mic and it set up the main event in a logical way. Here on the Contenders Corner podcast, we will give this a promo rating of 4 out of 5. The match between Ricochet and Styles was just a small taste of what these two are capable of together. If only these two were given enough time to deliver what could have been an impressive match on Raw, but maybe they're keeping this one for a future pay-per-view. Everything they did looked smooth, but they only had so much time to work everything in. With 5 or 10 minutes longer though, this would have been an absolute banger. We had Asuka and Naomi versus Doudrop and Eva. This is going to be a tag team match, but soon as Eva tagged out to Doudrop, she went down to the floor and this became a handicap match in all but name only. Asuka was able to hit a few good moves before she brought in Naomi. Doudrop whipped her in the corner and hit a standing splash followed by a cannonball. As soon as Doudrop had Naomi in a precarious position, Eva tagged herself in and made the cover for a 2 count. When she tried to tag back out, Doudrop refused and dropped from the apron. Naomi rolled Eva up for the win. Why WWE would have Piper Niven turn on Eva in their second appearance together boggles the mind. Did management already sour on the combo, or is this all part of some bigger plan? The match itself was short, uneventful, not fun, was sour to watch, and again, not much from either. And here on the Contenders Corner podcast, we'll give this a match rating of 1.5 out of 5. Match, it was John Morrison versus Randy Orton, and another Money in the Bank qualifier took place this week with Randy Orton against John Morrison. The Miz sat with the commentary team, but Riddle remained backstage. Johnny Morrison used his speed to get an early advantage and grounded the Viper with a sequence of holds and strikes. He hit a nice kick to the face for a quick 2 count. Orton turned things around when the fight spilled out of the ring. He slammed Morrison on the table and then turned his attention to The Miz as the show cut to a commercial. We returned to see the Legend Killer still dominating the action. John Morrison started going after Orton's knee to cut him down to size. Orton began to build momentum, hitting the draping DDT while a helpless Miz looked on from his wheelchair. Riddle rolled his scooter down to the chase The Miz away after he used one of Morrison's dripsticks. The distraction allowed Morrison to hit a Starship Pain for the win. Here on the Contenders Corner podcast, we'll give this a match rating of 4 out of 5. It was a fun match without worrying about any baggage from previous feuds. Morrison is one of the most athletically gifted superstars in WWE, and Orton is a veteran with a reputation for being reliable. So it came as no surprise to see them do a good job together here. This could be argued as the biggest win Morrison has had since returning to WWE. It may have been due to a distraction, but it was basically a clean pin. And then we have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross paired up together for this tag team match against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. The winners earned spots in the women's MITB match. Bliss debuted a new theme song, but Cross upped her by having new music and a new look with a superhero-inspired outfit. Cross channeled Mighty Molly as she posed like a comic book character, and at different points during her initial standoff with Baszler, she ended up wiping out Jax, Baszler and Reginald at ringside with a crossbody from the top rope. Bliss helped a little by putting Reggie in one of her trances. Bliss tagged in after a commercial and got a 2 count on the Queen of Spades. Jax came in and took control with some clubbing blows. Cross got the tag and took it to Jax with a flurry of offence. One big boot put her down immediately. A miscommunication led to Jax dropping off the apron. Bliss made Reggie almost slap Jax in the face, while Cross took advantage of the situation to roll Baszler up for the win. And here on the Contenders Corner podcast, we'll give this a match rating of 2 out of 5. This is one of those segments you either are going to love or hate. There won't be a lot of middle ground on this one. But Bliss being able to put people in a trance will never be something that everyone likes or everyone hates. But Cross being a superhero is something that could... I don't know. I have a miscommunication on this one. People are saying it's going to work. Others are saying they hate it. But Holly did this and it became one of her most beloved persona. Will it work for Nikki Cross? Because she is so much better as an insane character. She plays that insanity so well. Would this superhero type character work for Nikki Cross? In my opinion, no. Battered and bruised, McIntyre came out to battle Riddle for a spot in the men's Money in the Bank match. The wounds for his fight with Lashley looked nasty. The Bro took advantage of those bruises with a kick to the back. McIntyre almost went down, but managed to stay standing. He cornered Riddle and he threw him across the ring with ease. They went back and forth with strikes until the Scottish Warrior hit a shoulder tackle for a 2 count. Riddle hit an overhead belly-to-belly suplex on the floor as we went into a commercial break. We returned to see McIntyre counter the Broton. He started throwing the Bro from one side of the ring to another, but still showed signs of being injured. He almost collapsed after his kick-up. After several counters, McIntyre hit the Future Shock DDT for a close 2 count. They went back and forth until Riddle scored the upset with a victory roll-up, pinning 1, 2, 3. And here on the Contenders Corner match rating, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. There was great physicality in this match, and they did a fantastic job making McIntyre's injuries from Sunday appear to hinder his performance. These two had enough chemistry that WWE may not want to consider for a potential feud down the line, even if Riddle is still with Orton. They could make time for a couple of rematches at some point. McIntyre did an excellent job selling his injuries from Hell in a Cell. The way he winched in pain every time he was hit in the back looked so convincing. After agreeing to this match in the opening segment, Woods and Lashley met in the main event inside Hell in a Cell. This is arguably the biggest singles match of Woods' career in WWE. Woods hit a running dropkick as soon as the ref called for the bell. Lashley quickly cornered him for some shoulder thrust and a neckbreaker. MVP and Kingston watched from outside the cage as Lashley ran Woods over with a clothesline. The Almighty went for a running spear and ended up hitting the ring post. Woods began to rally with some drop kicks that sent him into the cage and a chair shot to the head. We returned from a break to see Lashley trap Woods under the ring skirt so he could unload on him. Woods grabbed a kendo stick and went to work on Lashley's back. He hit a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Woods put Lashley on a table and put him through it with a diving elbow, but he still couldn't get the pin. The Almighty sent him into a chair that was wedged into the corner before he nailed a spear. Lashley applied the hurt lock for the submission victory. MVP locked Kingston out of the cage and he watched helplessly as Lashley continued to punish Woods in the hurt lock. Here on the Contenders Corner podcast, we'll give this a 4 out of 5. This whole thing was a surprise from WWE. Seeing Woods get a singles match inside the Cell on Raw was not how anyone saw this night going. But it ended up being the best option that WWE could take. Woods, as always, did an amazing job both on offense and defense. Seeing him get more opportunities recently has been one of the few bright spots on Raw. The way he ended with Kingston, watching his friend be tortured, was perfect because it makes his feud with Lashley the much more personal. It used to be just about titles. Now it's about getting retribution. This was one of the best episodes of Raw in recent memory from an in-ring perspective. We even saw a few upset wins that made the show more unpredictable. And again, guys, like I said to a recent YouTuber, it's like Raw, it's like WWE, the creative of WWE, has been watching Raw get nailed near enough every week for the past 4 months. And near enough every YouTuber of known do a review of Raw. They've literally roasted the hell out of Raw for the fact that it's been crap. The fact that we as viewers have been locked in the Cell itself with their boring shit, their repetitive crap for near enough weeks, 6 to 7 weeks. But here we were dropped with a surprise, and nobody could call it, guys, because I went into this show thinking it would just be the same week, same crap, same nonsense. But you know what, guys? They flipped the coin, and it was not the best, but it was a very entertaining show, very entertaining. E-Fed, owner of AOW, will be joining us on this video. He's known as Money Mike, Mike Jeter, and Kip Carter over on his E-Fed AOW. Money Mike, this time is yours.
What's up, Review Geek 3000, Money Mike in the house. My thoughts on Monday Night Raw. First of all, I think Raw finally got a few things right. 3 matches in particular were the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. I like the fact they wasn't predictable, because I went into that show and I saw Ricochet versus AJ Styles. And I thought AJ Styles was going to come out on top, and I was wrong. That don't happen much in wrestling. Then, John Morrison versus Randy Orton. I just knew the Viper was fixing to RKO his way to Money in the Bank. And I was wrong again. Morrison went on to the next round, and he's in the ladder match. Then, surely, even though beaten and battered, Drew McIntyre was going to Claymore Matt Riddle's head off. But I was wrong again. Matt Riddle is going to Money in the Bank. So, I'm very excited for the Money in the Bank ladder match this year now. I want to see who ends up joining those 3 men. I think Kofi Kingston is a very hot option right now if he doesn't end up fighting Lashley at Money in the Bank. If he does, then I would say Xavier Woods would then become a hot option to add to that Money in the Bank ladder match. But I definitely look forward to it.
Unexpected had happened, and everyone went into that Raw show expecting it to be another boring, repetitive week, shit storylines, but the unexpected had happened, and Raw suddenly had flipped its coin. And moving into Money in the Bank now feels a lot more exciting, and this is why I say the unexpected had happened, because everyone expected Drew McIntyre to win. Everyone expected AJ Styles to win. Everyone expected Randy Orton to win. But it was a shocker as Ricochet had entered beat AJ Styles and qualified for the Money in the Bank. John Morrison as well, as he hit that Starship Pain. And no one expected John Morrison to pin Randy Orton 1, 2, 3. Same with Drew McIntyre. Everyone expected Matt Riddle to at least fall to a Claymore against Drew McIntyre. But the unexpected had happened, and Drew McIntyre didn't qualify on this night, on Monday Night Raw. But moving forward into Money in the Bank, it feels a lot more exciting, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see the pay-per-view, guys, but there will be some last-minute drops. So Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles could still get their chance to be locked in Money in the Bank. Also, Money Mike, what are your thoughts and your take on the Hell in a Cell match between Xavier Woods and Bobby Lashley?
Yeah, speaking of the Hell in a Cell match, that's what I was meaning by Woods being a strong option to add to that Money in the Bank match. Kofi as well. It just really depends. But I think this Hell in a Cell match, the most important thing that's going to come out of it, I think this is the seed that is planted. I don't know who, but Kofi or Xavier is going to turn on each other in the very near future. You heard that here first, by the way. That's happening. It started on Monday Night Raw, inside Hell in a Cell, when Xavier took the match. He just got his ass beat for his friend to get an opportunity at that world title. I'm telling you, seeds planted. It's happening. I thought the match itself was good. Bobby's looking strong right now. And I think I hear a beast roaring in his near future. I believe similar to when we saw Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, 3 matches, stretched out half a year, ending at WrestleMania. The 3 matches he had with Triple H when he first come back. I think Bobby and Brock are headed for a 3-match spectacular. I also have a feeling they're going to use Money in the Bank to get the championship out of that feud so they don't repeat the past mistakes, hopefully.
More money, Mike. I thought Xavier Woods was the great pick to be put into that match, and a surprise again as Hell in a Cell was put on Monday Night Raw as a free match. Unbelievable, guys, and nobody anticipated that either. Nobody expected a Hell in a Cell match on Monday Night Raw, especially with Xavier Woods and Bobby Lashley, and then Xavier Woods to bring an onslaught, and Bobby Lashley couldn't fathom the onslaught that Xavier Woods was delivering. It was back to back. Again, guys, the Xavier Woods hitting that elbow and connecting Bobby Lashley through the table was unbelievable. It was fantastic. And then to deliver the creativity, Bobby Lashley and Xavier Woods was locked in the Hell in a Cell. MVP locked the cell up as Bobby Lashley continued to deliver that hurt lock as Kofi Kingston was watching from the outside. Also, Money Mike, I just want to ask you one thing, as there are speculations for a possible return in the future. But what are your thoughts? And I'm going to lay this on the table on this channel for the first time. And I think I'm going to be the first one to drop this. But what are your thoughts on CM Punk returning to WWE?
Well, in September, you do have the draft coming up. I think NXT is going to be a big part of that. I think as far as Monday Night Raw goes, and we'll just stick to my thoughts on Monday Night Raw here because I only got a few minutes. I think only one name can save Monday Night Raw. And TikTok, I think it's coming. Karrion Kross is red hot. I think that his time in NXT is dwindling down. USA Network has NXT. So USA Network is going to be the ones that get their pick out of NXT first. And Karrion Kross is the only name. Hopefully, Piper Niven will hurry up, shed this Dewdrop nickname, and destroy Eva and send her away once and for all, because we've seen this exact same storyline with her before. It's boring. Big things are coming, though. I think Brock's coming. Brock's definitely coming. On Raw, I think Karrion Kross is another big option. And I have a feeling Fox has a card up their sleeve as well. And I think this year, the firings of Braun Strowman and Aleister Black was not about paying The Rock and John Cena to come back. Those guys will do it for free at this point in their life. It's just for love of the business. The best in the world is coming back this year to SmackDown. That's the other surprise. That's what I...
And please, guys, if you're new to this, then go over to the Contenders Corner podcast, and we do weekly wrestling reviews over on YouTube. Also, guys, please take this short time to go over to AOW and like, share and subscribe. They are at eFed on YouTube, and they produce some great content every week over on his channel. But anyway, guys, and welcome to the show, Micheal Ball, and it's always a pleasure to hear your thoughts, especially that roast you delivered on Hell in a Cell. It was absolutely fantastic to hear, and I had to hold that laugh as you literally dissected into Raw. You dissected into Hell in a Cell. Fantastic. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this week's Raw as a whole? It's great to have you on this show, Micheal Boyle, and let's get this started and let's get it underway. What are your thoughts on Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle? Are you a fan of Drew McIntyre? Are you a fan of Matt Riddle? Do you like Matt Riddle's work? What are your thoughts on Matt Riddle winning that match on Raw?
My thoughts on Drew McIntyre and Riddle's match on Raw for the Money in the Bank qualifier. A little bit shocked, to be honest with you. It was hard hitting. It was quite decent. I'm not a fan of Riddle. Never had been. I don't like the persona. I think the guy's an idiot. But I've always respected Drew McIntyre as a hard worker. But Riddle's talented. He's a talented superstar. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of determination to do what he has to do. He's got a crappy entrance. But the match went well. End-to-end stuff. Very textbook again. A lot of hard-hitting action coming from both men. Very technical, very grounded as well at some stages of the match. But yeah, other than that, great the match 3 out of 5. Just because of McIntyre. But yeah, other than that, it was a decent match that I haven't been probably my first Raw I've watched in over 5 years. Probably my first time I'm actually watching Raw in a long time. So I watched the highlights on YouTube. Like I said in the last review on the Hell in a Cell, I haven't watched WWE in a while. So, but yeah, other than that, that's my review on the match. So guys, make sure you like, subscribe to Review Geek 3000. Thank you again for having me on. And guys, make sure you tune into FCW every single week. We would love to have you on board. Order for the future for Review Geek 3000.
And it's always to hear your dissected take on Raw. And I never knew you felt that way about Matt Riddle. And you literally roasted that guy. You dissected into him. Unbelievable. But anyway, I thought myself the Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre was a surprise. I thought was a fantastic match. We on the Contenders Corner podcast, we rated this a 4 out of 5. But we might have overrated this one a bit. I personally don't know, but I personally enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good match, especially John Morrison and Randy Orton. I thought that was fantastic as well. And I also enjoyed Ricochet and AJ Styles. Those 3 matches were fantastic. They were unexpected out of the gate. and it was great storytelling from Raw as they flipped the coin, because everyone expected AJ Styles to win, everyone expected Drew McIntyre to win, and everyone expected Randy Orton to pick up the win moving forward into Money in the Bank. But like I said, as I spoke to Money in the Mic, as I spoke to Money Mike, it feels a lot exciting moving forward into the next pay-per-view, as the unexpected, and we were given a lot of surprises on Raw itself. Another question for you, Marco Ball. Give us your take on the future of Raw, the future of SmackDown, and your thoughts on Vince McMahon.
Jason's asked me to speak about the future of Raw, but I'm going to include SmackDown in this as well, because obviously it's the both main roster. What to save? There's nothing to save. There really is nothing to save. It's my personal view. I think it's at the brink of its time now. People are not bothered. The ratings are dropping, but it's not the wrestlers' fault. I have to admit this. It's not the superstars' fault. It's the writers, and it's Vince himself. I respect Vince. I've got a lot of heart for Vince. What he's done for this industry is incredible, but now it's the time to move away from it. Hand over the reins to Hunter and to Stephanie, because what Hunter has done for NXT is absolutely incredible. I tune in more to NXT than I do to the main roster, because again, I am not blaming the talent that's on the rosters on Raw and SmackDown. It is the writers. The writers haven't got a smeg what they doing, because the writers have not got any wrestling knowledge or background. That's what I've been told from websites that donate themselves to wrestling. And that's my view of it. The writers are the cause of it. Vince is the cause of it. He released decent superstars. Strowman, Black, Joe, Mickey James. They were all the Iconics. They were all put on the downer being released because he didn't see any future in them. We see the future in them. Listen to what the fans want. It is best for business for listening to the fans.
Personally, again, I haven't watched Raw, SmackDown, a full show in a long time. I always catch up when I can, and I don't watch a full show. I just watch snippets back here and forth when I can. And I think, like you said and you touched on, I think this was the first time in a long time that I've watched a house show, not fully, but I've watched it longer, if you know what I mean. And I personally enjoyed this Raw. I really did. It wasn't the best and it wasn't the worst, but I did enjoy it. It was fun, it was exciting, and there was a lot of fun surprises in this show. On the current stars on both brands, what's your take on them? What's your view on them? Is it positive? Is it negative? Tell us your thoughts on your view of today's wrestlers.
I think my view on the current stars, positive and negative, really. There are some superstars that I don't like, some superstars that I do like. Reigns, about as boring as the Ryder Cup. Matt Riddle is high as Mount Everest. Totally destroying Randy Orton's career. Randy Orton's been through so much over the last God I don't know how many years he's been there. Fantastic athlete. He should be in the main event all the time. He should be the face of the WWE right now. Why the fuck are they deciding to bring John Cena back? No one cares about John Cena. He's a Hollywood ass kisser, just like Dwayne. No one cares. about them anymore. It's about the modern day roster. No one cares about part-timers coming back. No one cares about Lesnar. No one cares about Goldberg. Overrated. Move on. The women's division, incredible. Some superstars in there that I don't like, but by Christ, they can wrestle. What is going on with Nikki Cross? I don't know what the writers would even think about what they've done with Nikki Cross, because that girl has got a lot of talent in her, and she's not being used properly. Everyone's roasting about Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is probably the best persona in that women's division right now. Alexa, Rhea, one day, my prediction, go for the Raw Women's Championship against each other. Charlotte, overrated. Roman Reigns, boring as the Ryder Cup. Cesaro, push. Jeff Hardy, push. Rey Mysterio, push. John Morrison, push. Ricochet, push. AJ Styles, push. Riddle, out. Reigns, out. That's my view on the current roster.
And then, like I said with Money Mike, and I asked Money Mike this as well, and I'm going to ask you this, Michael Boyle. If there is a potential wrestler that could be brought into Raw to save the show, who would it be and why?
And one more view. Well, I have to say, if something I have to save Raw, always this man right here, the best in the world, CM Punk. He asked me whether I'd like to see CM Punk return. You're damn right I want to see CM Punk return. Everybody wants to see a CM Punk return. It's a perfect opportunity for Punk to annihilate and dominate the roster because of his ability on the microphone when he drops those pipe bombs, his ability in the ring. He is the best in the world. And I know age might get him now, but by Christ, he's been in the ring with most of that talent, such as Reigns, the Usos, Rollins, etc., etc., etc. I believe that Punk has an opportunity to be the main man on the main ship show. Everyone wants to see him back. He's so popular. But yes, you're damn right, I want to see Punk back. Punk changed my life 16 years ago. When I became straight edge, I followed him. He inspired me to become straight edge. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs. The man's incredible. Bring him back. WWE, listening out to the fans. They want CM Punk back. Call him. Because you need him. Losing someone like Braun Strowman and other superstars such as Aleister Black and Samoa Joe. And now Joe's back on NXT. And Triple H did the right thing in bringing Joe back. Bring CM Punk back. CM Punk versus AJ Styles. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. CM Punk versus Kevin Owens. CM Punk versus Sami Zayn. The list goes on. I believe you need Punk now. Hashtag WWE for Punk. That's what we want to see. CM Punk coming home.
And that was the owner of FCW, Forbidden Championship Wrestling, on Facebook, and it's always a pleasure to hear the words of Michael Boyle. And again, this week, as he did for Hell in a Cell, he's roasted into Raw and laid into everything, nailed everything in a bud in an 8-minute section, guys. Special. The words of Michael Boyle here on YouTube, and it's absolutely fantastic to hear his take on everything on WWE, Vince McMahon, Raw down to SmackDown. And I think it was absolutely fantastic to hear his point of view and everything from the brains of Michael Boyle. But here I'm going to advertise and promote his Facebook page. Please, guys, go over to Forbidden Championship Wrestling and please tune in to his eFed over on there. They run satellite, PWF and high voltage every week. Go over to AOW on YouTube, and that is an eFed on there, and they do weekly drops of promos, interviews and much more. And they've also got the Elevation Bracket Tournament, so please check that out, as they are running into their final stages of the tournament. Also, guys, if you want more of these interviews of between Money Mike, Michael Boyle, and other special guests to feature on this channel, then please head over to us here on YouTube, where we talk everything that is wrestling on the Contenders Corner podcast. So please, guys, take this short time to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and watch us weekly here on YouTube. And again, guys, as always, you awesome folk, stay awesome.